right, let's go. Hey, how about some music? Yeah. Hey, Siri, play some music.
Now playing your golf mix.
We're here to play some golf, make some birdies. It's not starting well. Oh, that sucks. Oh, I think we need a music change. Hey Siri, play Willow City's new single, Under My Nose.
Okay, Under My Nose by Willow City is now playing.
You were right under my nose all this time. You were right under.
This is actually nuts.
Insane.
It's
I know.
crazy.
It's crazy. We need more of this.
Hey Siri, follow Willow City on Apple Music.
Now following Willow City on Apple Music.
There we go. Now we're rocking and rolling.
Hey everybody, it's the Trout. Welcome to the Trout Show. Hope you are having a great day. That preview video you just saw was from two very talented Austin guys called Willow City. They're brothers, Beecher and Ezra. They sat down and talked to me about, well, they've been doing some music for quite some time and they continue to grow their catalog. And now they've got a new album coming out real soon, and they're just getting ready to release on YouTube. And for people like me and you can hear the music of a new tune coming out called Under My Nose. These guys have been through a lot of musical history. They started out playing Celtic music a long time ago, moved into bluegrass, even toured doing some bluegrass, and now they're doing some top 40 pop stuff that I think is going to be big. They're fun to talk to, very talented, and you know what? One of them has a business degree. Whoa, you can't have that in the music industry. Come on. But they are great guys, and I enjoyed interviewing them. And you'll enjoy listening to their story of where they've been, where they are now, and where they're going next. And you know what that is? That's next on The Trout Show. Have you guys been performing together as a duo for any length of time, or is that just something you decided wanted to do?
Oh, baby. No, we have years and years experience. We'll give you a quick Cliff Notes version. So
Okay.
we were homeschooled, so we grew up learning, playing guitar and piano and singing in choir. And then our dad was a music director at the church. This is such the common thread as
Oh my gosh, is it really?
I know.
It is.
Of course. So we started that, like Ezra started on the guitar when he's 3 years old, and we started piano when we're 6. And then we never envisioned we would be here. Like, this is quite the surprise. But we got into entertainment in 2010. Ezra was in a movie with Robert Duvall called 7 Days in Utopia. And so that was really like our first.
Were you guys in the movie? Were you part of the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, you were. Were
Yep.
you an extra, or did you have lines?
No, yeah. I played the lead character as a kid. So I was in all the flashback scenes throughout the film. Yeah.
Dude, that's so cool. So
was
you got to meet Duvall, didn't you?
Oh yeah. We got to hang
Is
out.
is he as cool on this in person as he is on screen? Is he just kind of a cool dude?
Unbelievable. He's awesome. And the thing about Robert Duvall is so my mentor, the guy that I played as a kid in the flashback scene has become my best friend and mentor, Lucas Black. And
oh, I know who that is. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So
yeah, I know who Lucas Black
awesome.
is. Yeah.
Lucas is the best. And so it's funny because Lucas is my mentor and Robert Duvall is his mentor. And so we all had this amazing chemistry. And I wasn't actually in a scene with Robert Duvall, but we were on set together. And every time he'd come over to me and say like, "Hey, how you doing?" and ask me all these questions. And I'm like, "Man, why do you care about me?" I'm like a 14-year-old kid at the time. And
what year was this?
This was about 10 years ago. So I was 14.
So he's 90 now, I think. I think he just turned 90 this year.
Yeah. So that was really our first foray into proper entertainment. Growing up, our parents were our home designers and faux finishers. So our home had always been featured in publications, but we had never stepped foot into sort of that world of storytelling.
Right.
And just like the power of storytelling. And so that really lit a fire under us to be like, oh my gosh, how can we explore more of this world of storytelling? And you can make these things come to life. And so shortly after that, we started playing Celtic music with some buddies of ours. Old Celtic music. We grew up.
It was wild.
Yeah, it
wild
was wild.
times.
So we were just jamming with them, and then one day somebody from Relay for Life called, and they were doing a fundraiser, and they're like, "Hey, can you perform for 30 minutes?" And so our buddies bailed on us, and then our little sister and little brother joined us because we were like, well, we're not going to do it just the two of us. And so our little brother played spoons, and our little sister sang harmony, and we played bluegrass. We grew up listening to Alison Krauss and a lot of it.
So you were playing in a Celtic band, and then Relay of Life, which is for cancer. A friend of mine just played at a gig up in Pigeon Forge for them.
Yeah.
And then you played bluegrass
That's
at
right.
the
That's
Yeah,
right. So we knew bluegrass music. We didn't, I mean,
Bluegrass was like
bluegrass was
our
life.
Yeah, that was what we loved. And so we played this show at Relay for Life, and then people just started calling and like, hey, can you play the opening of this retail music store? And then, hey, can you play this this weekend long event? And so it just kind of
How cool is that? People
was
begging for events, and you guys are getting calls.
amazing.
It was
And
fun.
so, throughout those years, it was amazing. And then we went through, that was a while back, and then we rebranded and we're like, okay, we're going to get serious about this. And since then we've gotten to play with the most amazing, not only Texas artists like Asleep at the Wheel and Robert Earl Keen and all those awesome guys, but kind of our wheelhouse, which is like the Parachutes and the Chris Allen, who won American Idol early on.
Yeah, been a few years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we've gotten to play with some of our idols on both sides of the aisle, with the Texas side of things, and then also the pop and folk mainstream side of things. And it's been amazing. But that's kind of how we got started. And then kind of the newest form of Willow City is Beecher and I. We signed to Dare Records, which is a record label.
I saw that. I read that about that. Yeah.
Florida. And they're part of the Warner Brothers family. So we're
Warner Music Group.
Yeah,
Very much.
there's
Doesn't matter. You just say Warner. We all know who they are.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's
You're in the
so many
music
different-
industry, you know
There's
that,
like
yeah.
a million different organizations.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been just an incredible experience, and we've been working with them for about 9 months, but of course for 8.5, it's been hush hush and can't talk about it. And then we got to go public with it a few weeks ago and launched our first single last week. So it's been an amazing journey, but still I kind of feel like we're just beginning, because we've written so many songs, but this new season with Warner and Dare Records is just amazing. And we have an album in the works, and it's pretty amazing. I'm so hyped. Yeah.
So what's your ages, gentlemen? Who's the oldest? And how old are you? I'm
29 and
29 and 26.
Okay. So you're
So
kind of
we've been-
you're kind of in a sweet spot for music business.
Yeah, it works. And it's been really fun, to run the business as independent artists for 8 years, and or so. And there was a rebrand in there, so it's like 2 different stages. But it was fun to get to. I was in my young 20s, but then the rest of Ace and Liza are siblings, and Ezra were all in their teens when we would tour. We would do the West Coast, we do Central, the Central West, and that was crazy. And the memories were really fun. And then I think, at some point it's like, all right, time to kind of like move on with this thing.
So when you were doing the touring, was that bluegrass music?
Yeah.
Okay, that was a bluegrass. Okay.
Early on, I wouldn't say
Kind of folk,
bluegrass. I'd say
folk.
folk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
like Lumineers, Mumford and Sons,
Oh, okay.
that
Yeah.
style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Style.
So it's been really interesting, Rick, to have business experience and have run it as a business, and then you step into this very new world of being with a label, and it is fascinating.
It's wild.
To see the
Well,
difference.
like we were talking about before we started recording, is the artists, gotta love them. And I'm an artist, but I also have a business degree, and we're like, okay, let's make art, but also be good businessmen. And
Right.
Well, but here's the thing, gentlemen. What I tell young people all the time, it's not the business music. It's not the music business. It's a business of music is really what it is.
yeah.
And what people don't understand is they're going to make money. That's their job.
Yep.
Sure.
And if they don't, you won't be around long enough to figure it out. If you do, you'll be whatever. And it's still a tough business.
Totally.
And so how were you discovered? Did an A&R person reach out to you, or they see you, or how did that work?
So yeah, we released a record in 2018 that did pretty well, and that got some traction. And then in 2020, actually, right when the pandemic hit, we released 3 singles that we recorded independently. So one of those songs did pretty well, got some traction. And at least for, an indie band from Texas. I think right now we're at like 1.5 million streams. And
it's pretty good.
Just on,
and that's what is that $3.50 or $5? I've never.
Yeah, it's like basically 2 coffees. But yeah, just a connection of ours was like, hey, I've been doing some work with Dare Records. Michael Anthony Taylor is the CEO there, and he's won Grammys and produced for years and years and years.
And they're kind of looking to branch out and try something new.
Yep. They've primarily been in the gospel world, gospel and hip hop world, because they're based out of Miami. So it's kind of their wheelhouse. And so we went and got dinner together, and we really hit it off with the team. And then just, it kind of went from there. I wasn't a producer until January of 2020. But I've always been like, music has always come really naturally to me. But January of 2020, I was like, okay, we keep doing all these recordings, and the producers get it like 70% of where we want it. We can never get exactly what we want it to sound like. And so I was just like, you know what, I need to buckle down and learn the software, learn how to produce. And so I buckled down, learned how to produce. And then 6 weeks later, the pandemic hit, and I was like, well, we're not touring anymore. So here we go. And so literally for 70 hours, 80 hours a week, all of 2020 and 2021, I just wrote and produced. And so when the label approached us, we had 50 songs demoed out, written, demoed out.
But by demo, like Ezra produced them all out. So drive on him. My version of a demo would be like guitar and vocals, because that's I do all the video stuff. He's the audio guy, so his demos are like.
Ezra, you're like me. When I do a demo, it's pretty well done.
Yes, exactly. And that's the cool thing was when the label came to us, we didn't have to start from the very beginning. They were like, look, we love the tracks, we love your sounds, we love everything that you've done with them. We just want to, and Michael, who's the CEO and a Grammy winner, is like, I kind of want to throw my spin on there, but we're 95% done. So we're just going to take these and run with them and just basically push them over the finish line and be done. And so it's been an amazing thing. I've been able to keep complete producer artistic control while obviously getting the expertise of others. But we've been able to come up with something that sounds exactly how we want it to sound.
That's the hardest thing as a producer. And when I was talking to the ladies I was talking to you earlier about, and we were talking about, they said, one of them said, I don't like being told what to do. And I said, that's not, and trust me, I've been doing it, but I said, that's not what a producer does. Producer is to make you better or throw ideas at you. Hey, did you think about doing this? You think about doing, I don't want to change how you got where you got. That'd be silly. It's just that, you want to do something like that. And that's really, and I think over the course of years, listening to music from a lot of different performers, everybody has a producer. So Dare, that's the name of the label, right? That's why you record in Florida, because that was one of the questions I was going to ask you. Why did you go to Florida to record? Well, that makes sense. Where are they, in Miami, or where are they?
In Miami. So we do any video photo stuff we do that, I'm not creating, we do in Miami. Any sort of press related stuff.
Because Beecher's like our media content guy.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we do that in Miami. And then Nashville is kind of like the happy medium. It's a nice little triangle, Miami, Fredericksburg, Nashville.
Yep.
So Nashville is where we go to record music. And then we'll do listen throughs in Miami and stuff. But it is cool, Rick, because I was going to say, first of all, the idea of collaboration is, as artists, it's really easy to get the vision in your head and that you're like, this is my project. I want it to sound this way and do this. But that's one thing we've learned a lot over the years, is that like there's so much power in collaboration, like you were saying, and other people with different talents and views bring so much to the table that we might not even think about. And it's been amazing to see. We have a really one of our music mentors, we met in probably 8 years ago or so, and he was in a big band at the time. And we reached out, like we were just kids. We just reached out. They were going to be in San Antonio, and we were like, "Hey, would you want to grab coffee?" So we ended up meeting him, and then he's now one of our best friends, and he's really coached us through, like, okay, he taught Ezra really how to write a song. And
Taught
like,
me
here's
songwriting. Yeah.
here's the music business of it. I was just on the phone with him a couple weeks ago about marketing and social media, and so it's been really cool. Like, we've really been privileged to have people in our lives who are interested in what's going on, and who don't hesitate to be like, all right, well, hey, why don't y'all try this? Or they give guidance. Like, we definitely wouldn't be here today without all those people. I mean, it's hundreds.
And also, like you were saying earlier, that having the couple people that you send songs to and bounce ideas off of, that this guy's name is Adam, and since 2017 I've been sending him songs, and the thing is, he'll still be like, you should change this little part of it, and he'll tell me, like, he'll be completely honest with me. But that way, whenever he's like, this is really good, dude, I know that it's good. Like, because I trust him, and as far as production and songwriting, and because I can trust him, and he's not going to blow smoke.
That's what you want people to be. You don't want to blow smoke. Yeah,
exactly. And and so having that kind of person in your world, in your close circle to bounce ideas off, that's going to be honest, and that you can really, really trust is huge.
And it's hard to find those people. And I tell young people, I said, don't listen to your parents. They're going to always tell you you're good, even if you're not. It's just, you need to get people outside your circle. But the thread that I've noticed in everybody I interview, and that is, most people, I should say all the ones so far, have been wanted to be musicians or involved in music when they were young. First, that's number one. In America, probably 90% of them started in church.
Yeah.
That's the common. Chapel Hart was a prime example. Their father is a preacher, the large family. They go someplace else, and they bring the girls and say, I didn't tell you you're going to sing today. And of course, they're all singing, and they're like, you could have told me before I got here, but that's how they got started. And as a person that started loving music when I was 5 years old, you can't explain to people, unless you're talking to people like yourselves, what that means. It just drives you all the time, and it's constantly, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I'm sitting here going, okay, why am I starting another project when I just finished one? It's not even released yet, but I can't stop. It's just because you never know how long that energy is going to be there for you. You guys are lucky. You've got some time in front of you. You signed with a record label.
Yeah.
When you did the music in the studio, did you guys perform it all? Did they bring people in? I mean, obviously a lot of electronic stuff going on in there, but how did you get all the instrumentation on it?
Yeah, so we did some stuff in the studio, but 90% of what we did, I played back here in Texas. I already had.
You just brought it with you.
Yep, I brought it with me, and I played it, pretty much all of it. The things that we did add in the studio is we added some electric guitar, and we added live drums, of course, because you got to do that. And we have a great drummer named Devin Curry, and we actually met him at a festival. He was playing with Chris Allen, but he's played with 21 Pilots and John Bellion and Judah and the Lion and all these incredible alternative acts.
Right.
So yeah, Devin played live drums, and then we had a 9-piece string section in one day. We had a full gospel choir in one day.
And these will be on the songs that are coming out.
No, yes, I'm looking forward to this now. Now you got me the choir. Come on, dude.
Rick. Oh yeah, I mean, that's been the amazing thing with working with Dare, is because they're basically, Michael, who's co-producing the record with me, is able to take my ideas and make them better and bigger. And one day I went in and I had produced this song. It's one of the songs on the record called "Answer Your Texts," and it's going to be awesome.
Fantastic.
It's going to be awesome.
Hilarious.
Hold on just a second. I'm getting a text. Hold on. No, just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
and so I was like, okay, so it's a fun vibe. It's very, it has some
It's kind of
funky vibes.
what the song itself.
Yes, yeah,
and some gospel
Yeah,
elements.
very gospel-ish. And so I was like, okay, I just kind of like throwing this out there, but I kind of heard like a gospel choir on here, and like it would be so awesome. They're like, all right, we'll do it, absolutely. So I was like, okay. So they brought everybody in, and what our vocal producer on the record is actually Lisa Kim Winans and she's married into the Winans family, who is a big gospel group. CC's her aunt, and
I know that I know those initials. See,
yeah. And so, and then she in her own right has done big stuff all of her career. And so it was amazing to just have them on the record. And so, yeah, gospel choir, 9-piece orchestra, like string section. And
it'll be interesting. So Under My Nose is clearly like very poppy, funky. And the other songs on the record, they can still fit into the pop genre.
They're very much pop.
They are
very much pop.
But they're like, we definitely included some elements of where we came from, which is folk music. So like that was one of our, as we have progressed in our musical taste and evolved musically, that's one thing that we always have wanted to maintain is like, okay, we love pop music, but then how can we include some elements from the music that we grew up with?
Well, you're never going to be far from that. You're never going to be far from that. It's instilled into you. So even when you write it, you may not know it's there, but it's there. You know, and people might go,
really, I can't wait to read the whole project.
I mean, you already had me at choir. You do all the stuff in the studio. Ezra, you're kind of like me. You play all the instruments on it.
Yeah.
What are you going to do live? You going to play tracks, or are you going to get a band together? Or what are you going to do?
Yeah. So we're getting a band together. Devin Curry from out in LA is playing drums for us. He played on the record as well.
Okay.
I will play acoustic and keys because those are like my specialty. Beecher will play electric because that's his specialty. And then it's kind of up in the air how many more. We will play with tracks, definitely. But also we want a live bassist because the way those guys can groove is just amazing.
The drummer and the bass player, boys. The drummer.
Oh yeah, they're everything. So we haven't found a bass player yet, but we're looking for it, and we'll start to finalize that pretty soon. But we don't, the hope is touring either late this year or early next. So we have a little bit of time, and tons of friends in Nashville and people who play bass.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's a good. We have a good community there, so it's fun. Yeah.
Well, I just think it's cool because you guys are close to it, and I hope that it works out for you, because I tell everybody the same thing, because I interviewed a young man that's 20. He's trying to break through. Great songwriter. Trying to introduce him to people in the right place, and his dad's he saw one of my interviews, and he said, "Can you interview my son?" And I went, "Okay." So I heard him, and I went. He had a couple of videos on, and I went, "Oh my God, this kid's good." And they always ask me, "Well, what do you want if you make it big?" Concert tickets. So if you guys make it big, I expect to be able to come back and backstage and say hello. And I got seats up front.
The green room, we can hang out and have a drink.
You got it, Rick.
Eat before the show. Absolutely.
Maybe you can come play electric on a song.
That's it.
Dude, I'd be there in a heartbeat. Let's talk about equipment. Mr. Electric, what do you play?
Oh, heaven. You are terrible.
I set you up for this.
Yeah, you did. Because electric is my thing now, but it's only been for about 2 years, because when we were playing folksy music.
All right, let's go back then. What kind of guitar do you play? Acoustic?
I play a Taylor, so it's like.
So you're a Taylor guy. Okay.
I'm a Taylor guy. It's the playability is so good, and I do like a good Taylor. But
I love Taylor. I mean, I'm an acoustic guitar nerd, so I can talk about acoustic guitars forever. But Taylor, to me, across the board, is like the best big manufacturer. I like Martins, but only when you get to a certain price point. That's not
the expensive ones.
I don't want to tour with those guitars. Like, no. I play a Taylor on tour, and it's at a price point where I'm like, okay, if something happens to it, I'm not going to be devastated.
Right.
But I don't want to tour with a $10,000 guitar. And so,
You're not gonna be like Eric Clapton in 1928 D Martin.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
And he's playing it's only worth probably $500,000.
Yeah, exactly. So I play with a Taylor, and that's like my guitar. But then I also, do you know Tony Vines?
No.
He is a luthier out of Knoxville.
There's so many of these now. I'm interviewing. I've started interviewing guitar manufacturers, not the big ones so much. I did interview the guy with Gibson who does Gibson Cares. They give out that.
Oh yeah.
They give out a lot of guitars.
That's awesome.
But I've noticed there's more and more luthiers now than there used to be, and they make amazing guitars. I've got an interview set with guys in the UK. He makes aluminum guitars. They're electric, obviously.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And they sound good.
I
And-
do. So I play a Gretsch G5410 through a Princeton reverb amp.
Okay.
That's about as gear heady as I get at the moment. That's one area of my life that I need to really work on.
So when you're playing, and you will play live again, do you guys go
Yes,
direct on your acoustics, or do you put anything into it?
No, I go through a board, and then I actually need to
Just to add a few.
adding to my to-do list. We're headed to Nashville next month for some shows, and so
Okay, cool.
but I go through some effects just because I think everyone hates a DI sounding guitar. So I go through effects to basically just make it sound more acoustic, more real, and then add a little reverb. And that's pretty much what I do, just to get that natural sound. And then for more spacey, obviously not a song like Under My Nose, but for more spacey, slow songs, I like the reverb. I like having that space.
When you play someplace, it's different every time you play.
Yep,
I mean, it
totally.
sounds different, and that's the one. I still don't like it, because it's like on stage, you love playing, but it's like, I wish I could hear what they're hearing out there. You know.
Oh,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
God.
I wish, and I used to be wireless, so I could just walk out and go when we're doing sound checks, so I could hear it and go, okay, that's what it's going to sound like. I'll never hear it again, like that. But you guys already have all that experience, which kind of puts you up a notch more, that you already know. This is the advantage that you guys have as already seasoned musicians that are not really seasoned yet. You are seasoned.
Yeah.
Now, here's the next step for you, which I tell you, I'm a good person to tell you this, because I know when people are going to make big. You guys, you're on your way. I'm just telling you this.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you. That means a lot.
I know. I can tell by your music, how you feel about music, and how you appreciate what you're doing. And the number one thing I say to everybody, even the guys at Analogs that sell out every freaking night, you're having fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're not having fun, there's no point in doing it.
So true.
True.
So
Now,
true.
one day I'll be reading about Ezra got sick of Beecher, and he decided on his own for a while.
We've already been up and down there.
Oh yeah, we could fill a book with all those
we
stories.
learned early on, like, okay, we got to learn how to work with each other and
Yeah.
and make it work. So
Oh yeah.
Well, from here, let's just go, because I know we're running out of time. Because where do you want to go? I mean, what's your dream? What's your dream? You guys have a dream. What is it?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, kind of going back to what we were talking about 30 seconds ago, is just, we love making the art. And at the end of the day, I was in Nashville last week and having lunch with two friends of mine who's a film director and a film producer, and they've done big stuff all their careers. And they're like, man, at the end of the day, you can worry about the business stuff and everything, but you just have to enjoy creating the art. And that's where I am. It's like, I love telling stories, and I love telling stories of people that it resonates with. And but from like a practical standpoint, there's a couple guys that we really love and look up to, and to be able to emulate their career would be amazing. I don't know if you know Ben Rector, but
I've heard the name. Yeah, I think I have.
Incredible songwriter, and just a pop artist in the pop world, but just a great dude. He's
Super down to earth.
yeah,
Like-
his whole brand is just like, he is who he is, and he's not ashamed of it, and just down to earth. And so to develop that kind of a brand it's amazing. And then he tours and makes these incredible albums, but he's not a slave to the touring, which is nice. But he just tells great stories in his visits. So that's what we're all about.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you all the success in the world, guys. I love what I do. I love to talk to musicians, and I've never. Anything else you want to say to your fans, your future fans?
Well, thank you for taking the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
thank
my
you.
pleasure,
It's awesome
guys.
to talk to us.
Well, we always love talking music and production and
Fellow
writing.
Texans,
and
baby.
It's the best.
It is.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate you. Bye.
Take care. Have a good evening. See ya.